Hey guys, DOG Shadow Zero here, and welcome to another deck profile of one of my own decks. Another one that I've actually made outside of DN, although it's not complete yet. This time we're taking a look at my own personal take on Monarchs. Now most people like to run Monarchs with the Frog engine. I myself do not like the Frog engine simply because I don't like frogs. Not the Italian term, but the Yu-Gi-Oh term. I don't know, I just never liked running frogs Monarchs. I've tried to make my Monarchs pretty pure. So without further ado, let's check out my Mighty Monarchs. First of all, I have 3 Battle Faders. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand and end the battle phase. This card is special summoned with a effect banishment when it leaves the field. Basically, Battle Fader is a way to save your life points. If your opponent attacks directly, you special summon it and you end the battle phase. It can also be used as tribute fodder, which those of you who know Monarchs know that you need tribute fodder. Next up, we have Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. If this card is in your graveyard, you can return one face-up card you control to the hand, special summon this card from the graveyard, and if you do, take 400 damage. You can only use the effective Blackwing Zephyros the Elite once per duel. Now basically what Zephyros allows me to do, allows me to reuse my Monarch's effects. I send the Monarch back to hand, special Zephyros, tribute Zephyros, use the Monarch again. It's very useful, or I could just send the face-up spell card to hand, bring out Zephyros, and bring out another Monarch. It is just too good. Next up, we come to our first actual Monarch, Caius the Shadow Monarch, my personal favorite Monarch. When this card is tribute, summon target one card in the field, banish that target, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent if it was a dark monster. Caius basically just takes one tribute, so you can use the Battle Fader or the Blackwing Zephyros, or other summon materials I'll show you when I get to them. Basically, he will banish any card on the field. It can also be a spell or trap. I always like to banish the monster, that's just me. And if it's dark, hey, burn damage. Perfect. Next up, we come to Evil Hero Infernal Prodigy. If you control no monsters, you can special this card from your hand and face up attack position. During the end phase, if you tribute this card, choose to summon a hero monster, draw one card. I don't use it for the second effect, I use it for the first. Control no monster special from your hand. So sweet, I special it, then I contribute it to bring out a Monarch. It's perfect! You have to control no monsters though, which sort of limits it, but it's fine. Next up, we've got Grandmarg the Mega Monarch. You can tribute summon this card by using one tribute summon monster, so basically a Monarch. When this card is tribute summon, target up to 2 set cards on the field, destroy those targets. This card should be summoned by tributing an Earth monster. Add this additional effect. Also draw one card after that. Now you may be wondering why I'm not running Grandmarg the Monarch if I'm running Grandmarg the Mega Monarch. I will explain why in just a bit when I get to that certain card. But Grandmarg in my opinion is amazing. Not only is he a big beater with 2800 attack, he destroys 2 set cards, and with Ghost Tricks on the prowl, that is very good to have. Next up we have 3 Jester Confits. Basically, you can special summon this card from your hand and face-up attack position. If you do, return this card and one face-up monster your opponent controls to the hand during the end phase of your opponent's next turn. You can only control one face-up Jester Confit. Basically, what I use Jester for, special it, has no restriction. You can special it whenever you want from your hand and distribute it. Super simple, super easy. Next up, we've got 2 Mobius the Frost Monarch. When this card is tribute summoned, you can target up to 2 spell trap cards on the field, destroy those targets. Great card for getting rid of back row. And also, nice thing about this Monarch, it's the only Monarch where his effect is optional. So you do not have to end up destroying your own cards to summon him. Very useful. Next up, we have Mobius the Mega Monarch. One of the cards I need actually, but anyway. You can tribute summon this card by tributing one tribute summon monster, just like the other Mega Monarch. When this card is tribute summoned, you can target up to 3 spell trap cards in the field, destroy those targets. Definitely a back row destroyer. If this card is tribute summoned by tributing a water monster, add this additional effect. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this effect's activation. Basically, tribute Mobius, summon Mobius the Mega Monarch, boom! Your opponent's back row is gone and they cannot chain it. It is so good. He may be my new favorite Monarch. I don't know, but Moby's Mega Monarch is amazing. Next up, we have Rise of the Storm Monarch. When this card is distributed, summon target one card in the field. Return that card to return that target to the top of the deck. You return their monster, get rid of it off the field. You return the spell trap, make it so they have to draw it next turn. Rise is also very good, one of the more commonly loved ones. Next up, we have Vanity's Fiend. This card cannot be special summoned, that's fine. While this card is on the field, neither player can special summon monsters. This will lock down so many of your opponent's plays, and this deck does not need a special summon. So it doesn't really hurt me, it just hurts my opponent. Vanity's Fiend is so good. Next up, Spells and Traps. We've got one Dark Hole, destroys all monsters on the field. Love Dark Hole. Can't see myself running a deck without it or some variant of it. Next up, one Fiend Sanctuary. Special summon one Metal Fiend token. Fiend, type Dark, level 1, attack 0, defense 0, it cannot attack. Your opponent takes any battle damage you have taken from battles involving it. During each of your standby phase, pay 1,000 life points to destroy its token. I don't really use its effect for the whole your opponent will take the battle damage. I just summon the token, tribute it, because this is one of few tributable tokens. So hey, works for me. Next up, we have two March of the Monarchs. Tribute summon monsters you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. This is one of the Monarch support cards that came out kind of recently. This is also why this deck does not have an extra deck. Doesn't need it. Activate March of the Monarchs. Your cards are your tribute summon monsters, basically your Monarchs and Vanity's Fiend, are pretty much safe. The only thing that can really stop them is Solemn Warning at this point, or someone destroying this card. It's also good MST bait to protect your traps because this deck is trap heavy. Next up, two Mystical Space Typhoons. Target one spell trap card on the field, destroy that target. I've gone over this card before, so I really don't think it needs much explanation. Next up, two Return of the Monarchs. Another great Monarch support card. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. Don't need to. When you tribute summon a monster, you can activate one of these effects. Add from your deck to your hand one monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense with a different name for that tribute summon monster. Add from your deck to your hand one monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense with a different name for that tribute summon monster. The tribute summon monster must be face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. You can only activate this effect to return the monarchs once per turn. Basically, you can add a Monarch to your hand whenever you summon a Monarch or Vanity's Fiend. It's great. You can't add Vanity's Fiend due to having 1200 defense, but that's okay. Also, little known fact, you can use Return the Monarchs to add Dark Arm Dragon. So if you want to run Dark Arm Dragon, then go ahead. I found it to be not too useful in this deck, but hey, why not? Two Soul Exchanges. Target one monster your opponent controls. This turn, if you tribute a monster, you must tribute that monster as if you controlled it. You cannot conduct the battle phase turn you activate this card. Basically, you take your opponent's monster and you tribute it, and summon your Monarch. It's amazing. It counts as a tribute summon. You get rid of your opponent's monster. It's not destroying it. It's sending it to grave, which is amazing. But the only problem is you can't conduct your battle phase, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Finally in the spells, we have the Seal of Orichalcos, a field card spell. All monsters you control gain 500 attack. That's mainly why I use it for the attack boost. Make my 2400 beaters 2900 beaters, and my 2800 beaters become 3300 beaters. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. While you control two more attack position monsters, your opponent cannot target your monster with the lowest attack for an attack. This card is activate destroy all special summon monsters you control. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. You can only activate one Seal or Orichalcos per duel. Basically, you can use your extra deck while this card is on the field, but again, don't really need it. It's mainly just activate it. Hey, I'm free from special summoning. I mean, I don't need to special summon with this deck anyway, and all my monsters are super powerful now. So yeah. Next up becomes the traps. Bottomless trap hole. When your opponent summons a monster with 1500 more attack, destroy that monster with 1500 more attack. If you do, banish instead, send it to the graveyard. Great trap card. Use it all the time. Next up, 2 Call of the Haunted. Activate this card by targeting one monster in your graveyard, especially when that monster in face-up attack position. When this card leaves the field, destroy the target. When the target is destroyed, destroy this card. Basically, I used the special summon. I mean, when you special Monarch, they don't get their effect. You have to tribute summon them. I mainly use it special monster from grave, tribute it, bring out my Monarch. That's mainly what I use it for. Or if I need to, bring out my big beater again. Next up, compulsory evacuation device. Target all monster field, return the target to the hand. Such a great card. Use it all the time. Next up, 2 Mirror Forces. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. Another great card, can wipe your opponent's field clean. Next up, 3 of the First Monarch. Special summon this card as an effect monster, Fiend. Fiend type, Dark, level 6, attack 1000, defense 2400. This card is also still a trap card. If summoned this way, you can discard 1 card and then declare 1 attribute. This card becomes that attribute and it can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a monster with the same attribute as this card. While this card is treated as a monster, you can special summon monsters except monsters with this card's attribute. Basically, you discard a card, you special summon this thing, discard a card, declare it either water or earth, bring out your Mega Monarch, and get their second effect. That's what this card is used for. It is so good. And with 2400 defense, it's not that bad a defender either. So yeah, great card. Next up, Torrential Tribute. When a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters in the field. Great card. Trap version of Dark Hole. I love it. Finally, we have the Monarchs Awaken, or Will of the Monarchs in OCG. Basically, if you have no cards in your extra deck, which I don't, target 1 face-up tribute summon monster you control. Its effects are negated. Also, is unaffected by effects of cards other than the card. Basically, your opponent tries to compulse it. Phoenix, Wingman Blaster, Bottomless Hit. Your target your monster. It's safe. Can't be affected at all by any effects. Druid's effect is negated, but Monarchs only use their effect when they're tribute summoned. So as long as they don't chain it to the summon, you're fine. You don't need to worry about its effect anyway. And that's my Monarch deck. You guys can tell me what you think. This deck is still a work in progress, but I think it is coming along decently nicely. So that's good for me. This is DOG Shadow Zero signing off. You all have a nice day.